Okay, hi, I'm Richard Bull and I want to tell you about Dronfield Together. Let me start perhaps with something of the vision. So think of life perhaps just 60 years ago. Then we had the NHS just in its infancy, about 6 years old. We had little by way of social services, no adult care services to talk about. At that time, if you had a need, you turned to family, friends, neighbours. The network of support was in fact the community in which you lived. But that was yesterday. Then came the era of statutory agencies, so contrast yesterday with today. We have an NHS that has matured and over that time grown, and the spending has increased to about £120 billion a year. And we also have a sophisticated system of care, of which adult social care is the most obvious. And now, perhaps think of the future. The number of elderly are increasing, the proportion with chronic conditions is also increasing, and the resources we have to cope with these are in fact shrinking. Now we have financial crisis, austerity and cutbacks. For instance, across Derbyshire in the next 3 years, Derbyshire County Council will face a reduction in budget of over £157 million. 57 million of which will come out of the adult social care budget. And across Derbyshire again, the health economy is set to be about £250 million short over the next 3 years as well. So we're going to have to look back at how we coped years ago. That's our yesterday. It will throw us back on community support, but the question is, are we ready? Dronfield Together is about growing that community spirit, community resilience, assurance and confidence. That's not to say that we don't have community spirit now. We do, of course, but we just need more of it. Now I want you to imagine how many people in our community of Dronfield and district, that includes the surrounding villages, are actively involved in voluntary work, however you define that. Having asked many people this question over the last 6 months or so, the vast majority say between 2 or perhaps as much as 20%, and the maximum mentioned was 50%. Now that's fantastic, of course, don't get me wrong, but what would Dronfield look like, what would it feel like if the figure were 95% or more? What if we could build a community where that was the norm? So that's the vision, a community where all are actively involved in promoting the welfare of others, however they want to do it. We all do our best where we feel we have strengths, where we have passion, or where we feel inspired by others. The question is how. The likely answer is through what we call a social movement. This is where people get on board with an idea, a vision, and contribute to work towards fulfilling that vision, but with no central organisation, no obvious leadership. People simply align themselves with the ethos and add what they bring best to the party. Such a social movement needs a birth, obviously. It needs early adopters, people who promote the idea, sell the vision. But as the movement grows, there's a snowball effect. It's self-sustaining through the energy and ingenuity of those in the movement. And as I say, it needs no leadership. Indeed, organisation can often kill a social movement, but it allows the movement to continually evolve to fulfil the vision. So the next question really is what? What counts? What can I do? Well, that depends on you. What are you good at, passionate about? What are you inspired to do? Anything counts that contributes towards the good of others, the welfare of individuals within our community. My particular interest is in random acts of kindness, but I'll tell you more about that in a few moments. What else perhaps might inspire you? Maybe it's something simple like picking litter up on your road, or maybe wider afield, helping older people to become IT savvy, working to help to get teenagers into work experience placements for perhaps 1 or 2 weeks while they're in their latter school years, establishing a drop-in, establishing or working for a time bank, calling on elderly people in your road, setting up a credit union, helping to run a youth club. The number of ideas is limitless. Or anything you can add to that which you feel passionate about starting. Or maybe you don't feel that you could personally do something to start, but nevertheless you could follow, and in which case there's plenty of opportunities through the voluntary agencies. So let me indulge you with a little bit more about random acts of kindness. This is so simple that anyone can do it, and the potential is huge. Just imagine I start doing this today and perhaps only affect 2 others who join in with me, and all 3 of us do that again tomorrow. And if that continued, where we each reach 2 new people who were recruited to the process, the growth becomes exponential. Within a week we will touch just over 2,000 people. Within 10 days all of Dronfield and more besides would be touched by it. If we continued, by 16 days we will have touched more than the population of England, and by 3 weeks over 10 billion people. That's more than the world's population. Now, I'm not suggesting we go global here, just go viral and stick to our own community. But wouldn't it be great to live in a place where everyone benefits from a random act of kindness at least once a day? I think so, at least. And there's a link on the Facebook page for Dronfield Together on random acts of kindness. It's the BBC one. Take a look and see what you think. So the next question is why? Why are we doing all of this? Well, obviously because the need is there and the need is growing. But because also we benefit individually, both directly and indirectly. We've all heard it said, for instance, that it's more blessed to give than receive. But scientific studies actually confirm this is the case. People who give have higher happiness scores than those who receive, and both in turn have higher scores than those who do neither. Imagine how the morale, the mood of the community in Dronfield would rise if we were all doing this. The well-being, the community spirit, indeed the community pride. Such communities would have less loneliness. And that's not all. People with well-being, mood, happiness scores, all enhanced. These create increased immunity. So we'd all feel better and in actual fact be better if we were to engage in this sort of thing. So Dronfield Together is simply an embryonic social movement. It's an umbrella under which many different activities can gather, all contributing to the vision of a better Dronfield, a town with heart, a whole community creating community spirit. Social movements grow through sharing vision, activities, ideas, recruiting people and so forth. And nowadays such social media, accelerate this process. So why not go to our Facebook page, Dronfield Together, that's Dronfield 2, the number 2, together. Like it, better still, share what you're doing. This inspires others either to work with you or perhaps to start something else of their own, going down another road which would contribute. I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got to say. Thank you. Bye-bye.